Alrighty then. No intro today, dirty folks. Check this out. So, no hat today either. Where's my hat? I need a hat. It's not the hat I want, but I'm gonna wear a hat. Hold on. I gotta keep the thing. If I violate the hat rule, then what am I, right? Okay, so look. Today Facebook got shut down. For hours. For hours, I'm not gonna lie. I'm in Facebook jail. So when my Facebook didn't work, I was like, did it kick me off the platform? After a few hours, I had to call a friend, like, yo, is your Facebook down too? He was like, yeah. Well, okay, cool. So he calls me back about an hour later. He said he just saw on the news that Facebook got shut down by a whistleblower. I said, yo, I gotta make this post. I have an article, and I also have her in what did she do? 2020? I don't wanna. 60 Minutes. On 60 Minutes. And we'll play a clip from that interview as well. But I just want to say Ryan George is right. Ryan George is right. So I wanna give a shout out to Ryan George first off. And I want you guys to check the date on this broadcast. I need you to see this. It says January 15th, 2020. So we're talking about right before the presidential election. We just he called it. He has a couple videos. I'm gonna show both of them. He called it. So shout out to Ryan George. Ryan George, give us the vibe of this pod right here.
Their social things? Well, there's a really major one called Facebook. Oh, a book. That one sounds educational. No. Okay. Yeah, no, Facebook has, ruined everything. Wow, I don't know how something with book in its name can be so evil. How did this whole thing start? Well, the precursor to Facebook was this Harvard student making a website called Face Smash, where students can vote on whether or not their classmates were attractive. Oh, yeah, okay, that's a big yikes, for sure. Yeah, actually, if you could track down an 11-year-old boy named Mark Zuckerberg and teach him to respect women and privacy a little more, that could, stop a lot of crap from happening. Well, you know how much I love yelling at children, but our producer says we shouldn't interfere with timelines or something. That's fair. But what's Facebook for? It can't be that bad. Well, it used to be really popular with college students. And what's it about now? Well, now it seems like a major portion of it is for everybody's aunts to share pictures of these yellow things called minions.
Hilarious. So, Ryan George has been talking about how Facebook destroyed things for a while. And I love Ryan George. He's hilarious to me. But this lady right here, name is Frances Haugen or Haugen. She actually worked at Facebook for a while, and she was in control of their algorithms. So she's the reason that I keep going to Facebook jail. She is my foe. However, I do want to play a sample of her interview so that we can figure out why she blew the whistle, and then we'll go to the article. I haven't read the article yet, but I'm pretty sure it's some social justice stuff. But it's still cool because now maybe they won't put us in jail so much over cracking jokes. But let's see what she has to say.
And one of the consequences of how Facebook is picking out that content today is that it is optimizing for content that gets engagement or reaction. But its own research is showing that content that is hateful, that is divisive, that is polarizing, it's easier to inspire people to anger than it is to other emotions.
Pause. So, since they're pimping the algorithms. So once again, I got to give another shout out to Ryan George, because Ryan George called this one too. Now,
There's more violent. Okay, he's gone. Hi there. Hello.
Hey there, hi.
What's this? What is this thing you do?
Yeah, so this is a thing called social media algorithms. We're actually pretty proud of them.
Right? What does that mean?
It's on this thing called the internet. You guys have the internet in your dimension?
Oh, yeah, I think we used to have that, but people didn't like the sound that little box made, so it didn't really catch on.
Okay, so in our dimension, people didn't really mind the sound, and so the internet caught on everywhere, and now algorithms are a thing.
But what is it, like a music thing? Like musical algebra algebra? Or?
No, it's not musical algebra. It's a thing that gets to know what kind of stories you respond to try to keep you engaged.
What do you mean?
Well, for example, here's a story about a puppy being raised by a cat. You guys have cats and dogs?
We do. Yeah, that's cute. That's a cute story.
So then here's a story about a guy who was walking home from work and somebody cut his ear off.
Oh my God, what?
Okay, see, seems like you really responded to this story. Okay, so that's good to know.
I mean, that's shocking. So yeah, I did react to that, sure.
So, okay, I'll show you more of this kind of thing. Seems like you like it.
Well, I don't know if I like it.
Yeah, seems like you were really into that story. Okay, now here's a story about some students that found a way to fight forest fires faster.
Oh, nice. That sounds like an important development.
And here's a story about some students that went around starting forest fires on purpose.
What? Why would they do that?
Okay, more interest in the second one, I see. See, already a pattern emerging. That's great.
Well, I mean, obviously the second one made me angry, so that's a bigger reaction.
Engagement is engagement to the algorithm. You're obviously very interested here.
Okay.
So then the algorithm would probably show you, well, first of all, it'd show you an ad for an addictive game you play on a telephone.
What was that?
Yeah, we get a lot of money to slip those in there. Don't worry about that.
All right.
Next up, we got a story about a bunch of criminals running around the streets causing problems, and another story about a really bad guy getting out of prison early.
Oh, okay. Those both seem pretty negative. Can I hear more puppy stories, maybe?
No, you had a much bigger reaction to the other stuff, so why would the algorithm keep showing you puppy stuff?
I mean...
Oh, more about that ear-cutting attack. Looks like it was done by somebody who doesn't share your beliefs.
Huh. Would you look at that? Yeah, figures.
Yeah, they're different from you and they did some bad stuff. That feels good to know, doesn't it?
It does make me feel a little good, because I know that people like me can't be the bad guys, you know?
Yeah, and look at this. It turns out all that other bad stuff I mentioned, that was done by people different from you too.
Is that true?
It certainly sounds that way, doesn't it?
So it is.
I didn't say that. I just presented it in the same way I present everything, so it's hard to tell fact from fiction.
Oh, okay. I see what's going on here. All right.
You do?
I do. Yeah, I get it. People with different views from me are the root of all evil.
That could be the conclusion that someone comes to if it drives engagement. Add for something that aligns with the beliefs you've shown.
Huh.
And so, yeah, that's about it. I'd say the algorithm has you engaged now. You're hooked. How do you feel?
I feel angry and scared, and like my thoughts are the only right ones.
Yeah, well, maybe it would help to engage with other like-minded individuals that have been exclusively exposed to the same content as you.
That does sound good. I got a lot of pent-up frustration now.
I bet. So why don't you head over and talk to my colleague? He could take it from here. Hey, how you doing?
Oh, yeah, okay, I'll head over there. That sounds great.
Yeah,
Yo, Ryan George caught it. He's never going to get credit. Well, he did just get credit because I just gave him credit. But he does great content, and he called it. So all of the things that if you crack a joke, but you get flagged for bullying or hate speech because the algorithm can't, or the censor bot can't tell satire from regular conversation, while people can say hateful stuff all the time as long as they don't put the word combinations together to catch the algorithm. If you're saying things that engage but they don't like what you say, they can kill your algorithm. Like me personally, I went from getting like 120 likes a post to getting like 9. And I'm like, this can't be possible. But it is, because they killed the algorithm. There are, and I know it's true because people copy paste my stuff. They don't share it. Sharing doesn't feed the algorithm. They'll copy paste it and tag me in it, and they'll get like 90 likes for something I got like 6 likes for. So I know it's an algorithm killing me. And this is all part of it, because they want to control what people think. Now, I haven't read this article yet, but we're going to read it together because I'm pretty sure it's something in this article that's going to talk about how they dim it. I would hope so. Because if she's blowing the whistle and they shut down an entire, 4 social media sites for hours, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and something else that I didn't even know Facebook owned, over this, then it has to be something serious. So let's go to the article and let's read this real quick and see what's really popping in the streets. Okay. Whistleblower says Facebook chooses profits over safety. Frances Haugen, Facebook product manager who left the company in May, reveals that she provided internal documents to journalists and others. So the whistleblower said, yo, forget this stuff. I want to be heard. Okay, cool. let's see. She says, a woman told Mr. Ty and his team something intriguing. She had access to tens of thousands of pages of internal documents from the world's largest social network. In a series of calls, she asked for legal protection and the path to releasing the confidential information. Mr. Ty, who said he understood the gravity of what the woman brought within a few minutes, agreed to represent her and call her by the alias Sean. So what we're looking at already what we're looking at is a damn, what's my man's name who leaked all the WikiLeaks files? I can't think of his name. I apologize. But we have a WikiLeaks situation here. So she's already looking for asylum before she even tells on Mark Zuckerberg. So that already tells you that they're running social media like a mafia, right? Um, so she says that in a 60 Minutes interview, Ms. Haugen, who's age 37, grew alarmed about what she saw on Facebook, said the company repeatedly put its own interest first rather than the public's interest, and she copied pages of Facebook's internal research and decided to do something about it. And here we go. Ms. Haugen gave many of the documents to the Wall Street Journal, which last month began publishing the findings. The revelations, including Facebook knew Instagram was worsening body image issues among teenagers, and that it had a two-tier justice system, has spurred criticism from lawmakers. Hold on, let me say something about that. Because first of all, if on Instagram they show you um, unrealistic standards of beauty, the beautiful women and men, but women especially because they get Botox and booty lifts and all type of stuff, and they give you this expanded sense of beauty. On Facebook, they do the exact opposite. They show you a bunch of fat chicks. They show you the Lizzos and the, I don't care what nobody say. Um, what's that singer name? Not Macy Gray. I can't think of her name. It's not important. But they show you all these chicks, and they say, yo, you should like this. A bunch of 60-year-old chicks. Are they still hot? A bunch of 20-year-old chicks obese, like, yo, you can't body shame me. So they have both markets covered, right? They have the outrage market covered with Facebook, and they have the unrealistic standard of beauty, lightweight prostitution angle covered on Instagram. Now, when they talk about the two-tier justice system, I was going to jail so much. I was going to Facebook jail so much. I literally was only out of Facebook jail for 12 days out of 7 months or 8 months. Let's see. November until June. 8 months. 12 days. Not 12 consecutive days. 12 days. So I'll be out a day, go back. To the point that I changed my gender on social media. And all of a sudden I was saying the same things. I wasn't going to jail. That's how crazy it is. Just me changing my gender from male to female. It reduced me going to jail by like 70%. So there is a two-tier justice system. There's women and gays can say whatever they want on social media with almost no restriction or jurisdiction. And heterosexual men and conservative women can't say anything or they'll go to Facebook jail. Okay, cool. Let's go back to the article. But these are things that we already knew, by the way. She's just saying it's documented and proven, and it's intentional that they did it. But we already knew this, but we didn't have proof. She gave the proof. Even if it was only because she wanted to protect girls. It doesn't even matter the reason why. Because the tide lifts all ships. So if they have to do away with one type of discrimination, then it's best for everybody who wants to have freedom of speech. Now let's go back to the article. Ms. Haugen also filed a whistleblower complaint with the Securities and Exchange Commission, with the SEC. You go, girl. Accusing Facebook of misleading investors with public statements that did not match its internal actions. And since she has talked with lawmakers such as Senator Richard Blumenthal, a Democrat of Connecticut, and Senator Marsha Blackburn, a Republican of Tennessee, and shared subsets of the documents with them. The spotlight on Ms. Haugen is set to grow brighter on Tuesday. So let me explain to you what that means. that means that Facebook was entering the political fray, which we also already know. Facebook would be in a particular demographic and only show you articles that disparage the candidate they don't want and highlight the candidate they do want, right? The same thing that took me from 120 likes a post to 9 is the same thing they do to these political candidates. It's the reason that you hated Donald Trump and rooted for Joe Biden, not because you like Biden, just because he wasn't Trump. And then Biden became the president that they told you Trump was going to be, even though Trump was there 4 years and didn't do most of the stuff that they said. Trump should have just stayed off Twitter. Trump's Twitter fingers was bananas. It was bananas. But what they're also saying with the, well, hold on, let's see if they talk about this. Hold on, before I go on another rant. Okay, Ms. Hagen's actions were a sign of how Facebook is turned increasingly leaky as the company has grown into a behemoth with 63,000 employees. Some of them have become dissatisfied at its lurch from controversy to controversy over data privacy, misinformation, and hate speech. Here we go. In 2018, Christopher Wiley, a disgruntled former employee of the consulting firm Cambridge Analytica, set the stage for those leaks. Mr. Wiley spoke with the New York Times, the Observer of London, and the Guardian to reveal that Cambridge Analytica improperly harvested Facebook data to build voter profiles without the user consent. That is literally what I just said, that they're telling you who to vote for by whatever propensity, whatever you post, they use that algorithm and they just show you that. They just show you that. Just today, I saw something in the news. Now, think about this. Just 2 years ago, Donald Trump, quote-unquote racist Donald Trump, gave money for like the rest of eternity to historically black colleges and universities. Just today, Joe Biden took $30 billion away from historically black colleges and universities. So the same demographic that Donald Trump said we're going to pay for your education voted against Donald Trump for Biden, who said, you know what, get it off the roof. Sign up for a Pell Grant then, if you don't like it. These are the things, but even more than that, when they do the voter profiles, you also have to understand this. And I'm not going to make this a political video, but you also have to understand that that Biden got more votes than any president in history. In history, allegedly. Biden got 20 million more votes than there are registered Democrats. Biden got more votes than the most popular presidents of my lifetime. The most popular presidents of my lifetime, of my 42 years of life, were Ronald Reagan. He almost tripled Ronald Reagan. The quote-unquote first black president that plays the saxophone, Bill Clinton. He got 30 million more votes than Bill Clinton. Barack Obama, he got 15, 20 million more votes than Barack Obama. He got so many votes that if you add the votes for Donald Trump, which is like 70 million votes, and you get the votes for Joe Biden, which was like 90 million votes, you had 150 million votes. There's only 300 million people in America. So you telling me that every elderly person, every child, every dead person, everybody. Hey man, my bank want to give me some money. Everybody, dead, moved, living vacant lots, whatever. Everybody voted for Joe Biden via mail. Via mail. All right, but there's nobody to dispute it because apparently Facebook was taking those profiles and selling those profiles to the candidates they liked in order to set up campaigns for that. Think about this. Joe Biden was having rallies with like 11 people there, but he got 90 million votes. He wasn't even exciting the voters crowd. So information like that would be very valuable to somebody who wants to steal an election. Allegedly. Allegedly. Okay, so let's go back to the article. So now we already have some with the SEC for voter tampering, basically, political tampering, um, and we have allegations of harm to the youth, because you got to use the youth. You can't say that you can harm a 60-year-old person. Um, you got to say, man, it's about the 12-year-olds. Okay, cool. Now, to be perfectly fair, these little kids is wild as shit. I remember my goddaughter was 14 and she used to be on tag. And dudes like 36, 37 years old was tagging her. And I'm like, what the what? And cause I only found out because she checked that email on my computer and never closed that email. So I went to her tag through the email link. And on tag, she was 14, 15. But on tag, she was 19. It wasn't her picture. She was catfishing mofos like a mother. So I was like, oh, well, she might have been 20. So I'm like, it makes sense for a 30. And then I didn't know what tag was, that people just click the picture if they like the picture. So she catfishing people, and she using a fake name, and she using a fake age. She used a real first name, fake last name. So they kept saying like, Ashley, your 15-year-old ass got 32-year-old men clicking, tagging you. I'm like, what? So I say that to say that even with the question of the youth, for them to see content that's supposed to be for 18 and older, that means that they're making dummy accounts anyway. You don't have to send no ID to get an account. So, but you can't say kids are liable or culpable of anything because Tyler's going to talk. But, yeah, I digress. So, let's go back to the article. Okay, this is talking about a bunch of leaks. Um, Facebook tried to preemptively push back against Ms. Haugen. On Friday, Nick Clegg, president, Facebook's vice president for policy and global affairs, sent employees a 1,500-word memo laying out what the whistleblower was likely to say on 60 Minutes and calling the accusations misleading. On Sunday, Mr. Clegg appeared on CNN to defend the company, saying the platform reflected the good, the bad, and the ugly of humanity. And it was trying to mitigate the bad, reduce it, and amplify the good. Now, hold on. Didn't Ryan George just show you how the algorithms work? Whatever gets the engagement gets the algorithm, and that's what they push to you. So how can this person say that it's misleading and the platform reflected the good, the bad, and the ugly of humanity when they're telling you that if you like a cat and click like on a cat, but you hate child abduction and you leave a comment on child abduction, then all they're going to show you is child abduction. Right? That's how algorithms work, right? Okay. So, let's go back to it. Facebook did not directly address Ms. Haugen late Sunday. She said they were continuing to make significant improvements to tackle the spread of misinformation and harmful content. To suggest we encourage bad content and do nothing is just not true. Debatable. Let's see. Oh, this is it's nothing. Ms. Hagen's complaint to the SEC was based on her document trove and consisted of many cover letters, 7 of which were obtained by the Times. Each letter detailed a different topic, such as Facebook's role in spreading misinformation after the 2020 election and its impact its products have on teenagers' mental health, and accused the company of making material representations and omissions in statements to investors and prospective investors. Let me tell you what that means just on my in my small world, right? In my little bitty world, this is what that means. The top 5 sites to run content, like run ads. Um, Number 1 is YouTube, which is owned by Google. Number 2, ironically enough, isn't even Google. Number 1 is YouTube. Number 2 is Instagram. Number 3 is TikTok. Number 4 is Google. Number 5 is Facebook. So 3 out of the top 5 are owned by Facebook. Now, did I just say that right? I believe so. Anyway, no, because they don't own TikTok. So 2 out of 5 are owned by Facebook. The revenue generated by those, they'll tell you something like If you give us $10, you'll get 1,000 impressions, 1,000 people to see your ad, right? If you want direct engagement for $10, 100 people have to click your ad for us to charge, right? So you'll go from 1,000 impressions to 100 clicks, right? And they're what they're saying is they're misrepresenting who gets to see your ads, right? Like for instance, I'll see ads from a guy called Billy Jean Marketing, all day long. I ask my friends, they've never heard of the guy. It's targeted marketing based on whatever algorithm I used at that time, which was about business or marketing or something of that nature, and that's all I see, and that's fine. But Billy Jean is in Cali, so his budget is bananas in order to move his product. But they misrepresent Billy Jean because the people who are in that industry, I'm not even in that industry, that he's doing for the turnkey service that he's offering. I never said I wanted the turnkey service, and I never necessarily said that I was interested in purchasing marketing materials. I probably just typed marketing in a post or a comment one day, and now he's just always on my feed. Um, and now his ads are misrepresented, um, and he's being charged for people who may not see the value in his ad, even though he paid for targeted advertising, right? So that's what they mean when they talk about investors, and not just talking about stockholders. They're talking about the little guys like me and you who buy ads on these social media sites in order to promote our products and services and hope that we get to the correct people because we're trying to turn a profit by making our by branding ourselves and our products and services, right? So me, Oak Summers, the heterosexual male slash gangbanger dirty folks, I shouldn't be posted up if somebody's talking about tampons, and I'm not talking about tampons. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't work for the demography. Okay, so that's what they're saying. They're misleading people. So not only are they misleading the stockholders to say that they moving these numbers, they're misleading the people who purchase the ads to keep them afloat. That's what this article is saying, and I can believe it. Okay, let's go back. Now, in one cover letter, Ms. Hagen said Facebook contributed to election misinformation and the January 6th insurrection at the U.S. Capitol. Oh, that's interesting. Um, while Facebook has publicized its work to combat misinformation and violent extremism related to the 2020 election and insurrection, Ms. Hagen's documents told a different story. One cover letter read, in reality, Facebook knew its algorithms and platforms promoted this type of harmful content and failed to deploy internally recommending or lasting countermeasures. I'm not sure what they should have done about that, but okay. Um, They said Ms. Ty said they've been in touch with SEC's whistleblower office and the Division of Enforcement regarding Facebook, and the SEC typically provides protections for corporate tipsters that shield them from retaliation. The agency also provides awards of 10% to 30% to whistleblowers if their tips lead to successful enforcement and actions that yield penalties of more than $1 million. So she stands to make anywhere between $100,000 to $300,000 for snitching. But I don't think that's why she snitched. Um, and they're going back to talking about teenagers. Let's see. If Trinity can get more people interested in discussing Facebook's heinous wrongs, let's talk about it. This month, a whistleblower approached my office to provide reports and documents about Facebook and Instagram. What they reveal is damning. This is Richard Blumenthal, which was the senator from whatever state that city was earlier. Um, this is a long article. Let's see. And that's it. But I will read the last conclusion just to finish this up. On Sunday, a GoFundMe page that whistleblower aid created for Ms. Haugen also went live, noting that Facebook had limitless resources and an army of lawyers. The group set a goal of raising $10,000. Within 30 minutes, 18 donors had given roughly $1,200. Shortly afterward, the fundraising goal was increased to $50,000. Okay, so that's all I can say about that. Ryan George is right. I called it, and I would like to say the reason that I keep giving Ryan George this credit is because I was also upset, like, yo, what's going on with these people when I was on social media, and I ran into this clip. I've been a fan of him for a minute for his movie reviews. But we got a second channel. He does this thing about social media, making spoofs, and I realized watching the thing. I said, he's right. You know, there's a reason that my friends who aren't on Facebook aren't as agitated about social media because they only on Instagram looking at Instagram thoughts. You know, there's a reason that a lot of the people who I was friends with on Facebook have now moved to do blogs on YouTube and start their own YouTube community. And I need to reach out to them too. Shout out to Mr. Palmer with the deadbeat, the baby mama terrorist page, because he really encouraged me to get my vlogs up. Said he'd been a fan of my posts for a long time, and I'm a fan of his videos now. We're gonna have to do something. But yeah, so whatever community we started over there, we can move over here to YouTube, and we can still network and things of that nature and have real dialogue, so people can get the context of what it is that we say instead of reading our posts in their voice and being upset, because that's what the algorithms tell them to do. So I just thought this was interesting. I really did, and I wouldn't have even cared, except I was trying to go on Facebook to download a picture to my phone and couldn't get on the book, and I was like, wow, what's happening? And that's when I got the call, like everything's popping off. So I'm gonna leave it right there, man. Love each other as you love yourself. Feed the pack. Tribe up. If you watched it this far, man, you gotta like and subscribe, man. Help your boy get to 100 subscribers. Anyway, I'm out. Appreciate you.